There's a kid in Khayelitsha, or your closest hood, with a phone and $12 of data, who can now access the same writing, the same design, and research tools that cost corporations thousands of rands a month. That is the conversation of AI. AI has compressed the distance between what you can do and what you have access to. You can generate a business plan, design a logo, write a song, Credo V Daniels, translate a document, or research a legal question without a degree, a studio, or a legal team. The access is real and is changing what is possible for people who were previously locked out by money, by language, or by geography. Because the same AI that writes your cover letter is replacing the person who would have to review it. The same customer service AI answering your calls right now is replacing the person South Africa employed in call centers for the last 2 decades. The BPO sector, which is short for Business Process Outsourcing, has been one of the country's most reliable job creators for young people without degrees. Customer service, data capture, bookkeeping, document processing. These roles are being automated faster than new ones are arriving. And it's not only those jobs. AI now writes legal research summaries, flags anomalies in financial reports, drafts patient referral letters. Junior lawyers, junior accountants, junior doctors, you name it. The entry-level roles that used to be how you learned your profession are shrinking. If the first rung disappears, experience becomes impossible to get. That is the threat that does not make the headlines. No, not robots in factories, but the quiet removal of the way in. Let that sink in, man. Let's do a case study on what happened with Credo V Daniels. This conversation, I've got so much to say. But I prepared something for you today so that I don't have to say everything that I think. But maybe I'll give you my thoughts at the end of it. Credo V Daniels is a South African artist whose Afro versions of Sidi Laka from his debut album, Still Where We Were, reached 6 million YouTube views and introduced many people to his music. The problem arrived when people saw him perform live. The voice they heard on stage and the voice on the recordings sounded, as many listeners would put it, like 2 different people. And that is putting it mildly. This is me being politically correct. This is me being that Kaya FM radio presenter asking him how he makes music. If I have to tell you what the real reviews of the voice comparisons are, I think I've been doing an injustice to my role of being neutral. His music has disappeared from Apple Music within days of the ENCA performance going viral. And his defense, AI was a tool used for backing vocals and choirs when session musicians could not make it. Not that he couldn't afford it. No, he did afford it, but he was like, these niggas are late. You know what? I'm just gonna go into AI and just check if they've got some choir vocals for me that I can use, because these niggas are late. They're fired, in fact. Credo V. That defense raises an even bigger question than the one people were asking. If AI generated the vocal layers that helped drive 6 million views, who gets the royalties for those contributions? The artist who fed the prompt into a tool, or the company that built the tool, possibly trained on real human voices, real gospel choirs, real session singers who were never credited and will never be paid? Copyright law, including in South Africa, does not recognize AI as an author. A work needs human creative input to be protected. The more AI generates, the thinner your legal claim becomes to it. Streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify now require disclosure when AI has materially contributed to your track. Not disclosing this is a policy violation, not just an ethical choice, which is what appears to have happened here, and which is why the album has disappeared. But no, I have to know iTunes formed against Credo shall prosper, because Credo has uploaded a new album this week. But okay, we'll get to that. The principle carries beyond music. It applies in every professional setting. Every student deadline, every piece of content you put your name on, AI can carry significant parts of your output. What it cannot carry is your name, honestly. If it did the work and you claim it, full credit. That is where the responsibility sits. AI itself does not deceive. It does not know what it is doing right or wrong. It reflects the choices of whoever is instructing it. The danger is not the tool. The danger is someone who is using it without acknowledging what it is doing. So, the question is not whether you are using AI. Most of you already are, even without calling it that. The question is, are you using it to learn faster or to avoid learning? To build something real or fake something that looks real? And if AI were transparent enough to show exactly what was made by a human and what was made by a prompt, would you be comfortable with what your audience sees? Let's hear about your thoughts in the comments. Just a little note on Credo V Daniels before I close. I personally am rooting for him. I am rooting for him to succeed. And it appears that he is taking that direction. Why am I rooting for him to succeed? Not because I want him to continue deceiving us, but he has started a big conversation. And just because we want him to admit something, which he probably won't, I see here a potential mzega situation yet again, where we know what the answer is, but he's just not telling us. DJ Smooth, come on now, Victor. Just say it. We know. Just say it now. Credo I think, is going that direction because he's not talking at all about what really the people are trying to hear. If anything, if I am behind him, I imagine that the less Credo says himself, the more the conversation keeps going. And if only Credo just uploads his music, he gets the streams. Now, is that ethical? Is that right? That is where you come in. Are you trying to create the responsibility of it? So if I were him, the only thing I would ever do would be to acknowledge that it's AI. Maybe not with words because it's not saying any words, but just by never taking a show that requires you to sing with your voice. Always take a show that has backing track and develop a personality that matches the sound of your music. Be the AI guy with a face. And I think that's where he's going. And if he does that, he'll win. I want him to win for that reason. For the reason that he became the first case study. A laughing stock in some instances, but a very highly recommendable creator in some instances. There are people who still believe that Credo V Daniels' music is nice and I don't care what you say. And then there are people who say, I will never dump down to the level of a person who enjoys AI music because I'm a real person and I deserve real music. So that's the conversation, and that's why I'm rooting for him to win, because the conversation around him is that of being a trailblazer, to start something. History won't remember whether you are wrong or right. It'll remember that you were the conversation. So keep going, Credo. If you have anything to add or take away, leave it in the comments. And that is it from me today on the Daily Development Dose. You will be hearing from me again tomorrow. Sayonara! A human needs to, not just an ethical choice. Okay, let's do this again. Which means that what appears to have happened here, and which is why the every student deadline, every piece of content you put in your name on, well, you put your name on, put your name on,